Hello and welcome to Hops and Bros.
And this week we're giving you out some tips to grow your own hops at home, something like
Just
that.
hops, nothing else. Just hops.
Yeah, but it might apply to something else.
It might not, though.
Maybe.
For an open window on the crabby world, Max and Chris from Ups and Ups and Welcome to Ups and Bros. Yeah.
Please don't call the cops, okay? It's all legal. It's primo, bro.
Yeah, or at least don't call the cops until July 1st.
Yeah.
Please.
Or, yeah, after that you can.
You can still, but it's just not applicable.
How to grow hops.
Yeah, let's not get mixed into this thing because we got your... like you guys know, we already planted some hops at the Hops and Bros HQ, and since they've grown quite a lot over the last 3 years, I decided to jump a little bit more into the literature of growing hops, and also I wanted to share a few tips that I learned myself from growing hops over the last 3 years here at the Hops and Bros HQ, and also like we've known quite a bit from that plant since we started doing this at the HQ. So just to get you a little bit more into context, we're growing currently Cascade, Willamette, and Nugget hops. Our Cascade is the oldest one, which is the one I had the opportunity to remove the rhizomes from the oldest plant. So it started sprouting around, and I was able to get some of the rhizomes to plant them fresh new to get started somewhere else on the Hops and Bros HQ territory. So just to get started, the first tip, and one of the most important, Max, it's the perfect spot. And no, I'm not talking about the G spot. I'm talking about the op spot.
Chris, no one thought you were talking about the G spot. It was not even in anyone's mind until you brought it up.
I just thought it was a funny joke, but I think my comedian talents are getting down the drain since you left. So there's no one left to laugh about my jokes.
I am your ray of sunlight in this world, and especially when it comes to comedy in general. Now, one thing I wanted to add, the HQ is somewhere around Ottawa, which historically was a place that would grow hops. Back in the day, it was a big cash crop. So people started planting hops. Now, it doesn't take long for a generation to forget how to cultivate a plant after it's gone for a while. And hops went down in I have only the French word right now, valeur, in value. Therefore, other plants took its place, like tobacco, like other cash crops, which replaced the hops. So the hops in Ontario, virtually no one grew that for the longest time. It's only been about, 10 years that people started replanting, and all the knowledge, all the savoir-faire that was in those cultivators is all gone. So at this point, there's pretty much zero knowledge unless it's one of the big companies who's done a lot of research on that. I guess we can go to the next point.
Yeah,
and I've got more stuff for later.
Since you were talking about knowledge, that's why we're dropping some knowledge out there on the internet, because we want people to know how easy it is to grow ops on your own HQ. So a lot of people are like thinking, oh shit. So this is my tip number 2. Soil. How good I need my soil to be. So basically you can have pretty much any kind of soil available because ops are really strong plants in general, so they can grow pretty much anywhere except like sand and rocks. But
although I'm sure they would find a way.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. This is the issue. So if hops can find a good amount of potassium, phosphates, and nitrogen in soil, plus a good amount of water and sunshine. So I was talking about the perfect spot, but hops need to have room to grow. So we're talking about 20 feet high, but don't be worried. You can still let them grow up down for 8 feet, then go down, but they'll always want to go back up. That's why you also need to plant them on a spot that offers up to 6 hours of sunlight. So planting them facing south, this is what you want.
That's the thing with hops is they're like a plant who would like to live in a desert, but also really like to get rained on. So it's kind of
Exactly.
perfect balance between both. But it's a fun plant to watch because it will grow pretty fast. Like if you
It's
stand next to one of
impressive.
those plants, it will start wrapping around you. It's that kind of plant.
So that's why if you get a good soil, so tip one, getting like a right spot with the sunshine and all that stuff and room to grow. And then tip number two, having a good soil also really helps. But if you just have access to bone meal, this is also a good way to give them the proper nutrients to get started. Because after that, they just make it their own. And I saw it, like some hops that I literally forgot, just proud of the soil this year, which is something I wasn't expecting at all, and we weren't expecting that at all. We were like, those are dead. Let's forget about them. But they grew back up. So
Nature finds a way,
Yeah.
just like Jurassic Park. Nature finds a way.
yeah, exactly like Jurassic Park, and just like Jurassic Park, my tip number three.
Number 4,
I'm at 3 now.
you're at 3.
Yeah, but it's not really
I thought
exhaustive.
you were at 4.
You know,
Anyways, okay, 3.
if it's 4, it's better. But yeah, so like 3, like dinosaurs, you need to maintain them. You need to take care of them. Don't let the hop plant become Jurassic Park of your HQ. If you let them just be wild and free, they'll just start killing other plants in your yard and kill each other. So that's why you need to maintain them. So every single vines that just grow away from the original plant, so your 4 to 6 vines that are strong and really good, keep them alive. The other ones you can chop them off, so it gives them breathing space and room to grow a bit more, and also reduces the chance of mildew, which is a bad disease for hops. It's not something you want. So this is something you gotta keep an eye on it. And I just did my trimming of the first part of the season this weekend, and it's actually surprising how far some of our plants grew like really apart. And that's where you got to be careful, because they started strangling other plants and also other hops that weren't in the same vines, if you still get what I'm saying about that. So if you don't want to end up like Jurassic Park, keep an eye on your hops. That's tip number 3/4. Is that good, Max? Is it a good tip number 3?
Yeah, it sounds like a good tip number 3. Please carry on.
I think tip number 4 and 5 kind of like mix up together. It's all the little advice that we got from growing hops that I mix it up in like tip 4 or 5. I just wanted to make it top 5 because top 5 sounds good. But keeping an eye on them, training them is also something you don't really think about at first. But these plants need a little bit of training at first, just to see where they're going, because after
Yeah,
that
'cause they're going to attach themselves to something. It can be a fence. It's usually a rope. It can be a post. But
yeah
it's easy for them to miss that or to not grow properly on those. So you kind of have to keep an eye on it and make sure that it goes clockwise around the rope going up, and that it doesn't diverge from there. And then they will attach themselves to posts that are close. So say you have a feet in between your two hops, it might not be enough room. They might go on one and the other and then come back. So you gotta keep an eye for that for sure.
Just keeping an eye. And no worries if you're a little bit messed up like me and you go counterclockwise, the hops will come back clockwise either way. This is their nature. This is how they grow. So no worries with that. Also, in those little advice, if you see some should I only have beetles, the yellow beetles, or is that the yellow or the red ones? I forgot. But don't be scared. These are really good friends for your hops. We had some of them in our plants last year, and we were kind of aware, like scared of it. But these are really good friends to have for your hops, because they'll eat off the bad other insects that are around your hops that might hurt them.
Yeah, and keep in mind that you will get some other insects that are not going to be as nice. So always keep an eye on your hops. Always check the leaves and make sure that there's not these little green tiny bugs that go in them. They're not. They won't affect the flavor that much, and they will leave when you dry the hops. But keep an eye. And I think we talked about this in Cascade. Cascade was actually a hop that was developed to survive those little bugs, those little microorganisms
I don't have the right name for
that
it.
are not good for your plant.
But once you're all done, you had a blast growing all your hops. You went through a couple of years. Then you end up 3 years after with a big plant like ours. You can easily take care of those plants, and you see they're sprouting. So they've grown some satellites out of the main plant. Just dig up 2 to 3 inches from the surface, just gently, and you'll find really big rhizomes. So basically, it's offshoots from the main plant to grow itself just a little bit further down. So super easy to do. I was a little bit stressed out when I first did it. But basically you cut, sometimes they're like 12 inches, just cut them in 3. It just needs from 3 to 4, 5 inches because you need the white nodes on them. This is what you need to get a proper healthy rhizome. So a little rhizome, like 2-3 inches with 3 to 5 white nodes on it. This is what you need to replant them afterward.
And also be mindful of where you replant them, because the longer a plant stays in one soil, they'll adopt some particularities from that soil, and not necessarily positive. It can be negative. So it depends what you want to do. If you want to grow your own field with the thought of selling those hops to a brewery, maybe buy them new, fresh, that weren't cross-pollinated with others, that are really just pure rhizome of the type of hops that you want.
Exactly. And this is, guys, how to properly, or just 5 easy tips how to grow your own hops. And don't be scared to use those tips and apply them to other plants. Maybe not hops, if it's legal in your country. I'm not sure. Maybe we should...
What do you want to say? Finish your thought.
Maybe we should have an expert on that on the show. I'm not sure.
Maybe we'll figure it out. We'll have an expert. We'll have Uncle Joe, the weed dealer, come help us out. Oh no. Anyways, so if you decide to grow your own hops, and you decide that you want to be a hop grower and sell it to breweries, there's a couple different things you should probably look into. First off, not every single type of hop is going to be proper to your region, and naturally, as I said in the beginning of the show, we kind of lost that knowledge, that hop knowledge around this. But there's a couple ways to be able to get that knowledge. One of them, as mentioned in the Citra video from Tuesday, is to send your stuff to Niagara College. They'll analyze your hop, they'll figure out what's going on, the alphas, the betas, all the background of what hop growing is, and also they're looking to develop a system to figure out which hops grow better in which region, especially Niagara region for now, but they'll have more information if you, from your region, send your hops. They'll be able to figure out if it's a proper plant for where you are, if it needs more water, if it needs more light, if it needs different soil. So think about that. But if you just want to do it at home for fun, go for it and enjoy. It's a fun plant to grow.
It's really worth it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little tips. I know we're putting a lot of effort into making those videos a bit more entertaining for everyone, but also it's really fun to experiment on beer ingredients that way, and having our own hops at home really feels like we're a step further into the process of doing beer in general. So on that note, I'll end it to Max because I'm pretty sure my camera stopped filming, so I'll let your face say bye to everyone, since my voice is the only thing left in this video now.
Alright, well, see you guys. If you like the video, please leave a like, subscribe, share it to a friend you think might like this kind of video. And if you want to buy some beer, but you don't want to go through the effort of sending said beer through the mail, you don't trust that it's going to make it to us, check out Patreon. It's a good way to send us a bit of cash, let us know which beer you want us to grab, and we'll do our best to find it, review it, or talk about it on the show.
Yeah, will always be a pleasure. So thanks a lot for the huge support you guys been giving us over the last videos, and thankfully, we'll see you in the next video because you don't see my face right now and it's just really weird.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Why am I clearly in front of the camera? I'm pretty sure it's dead now. Let's do the ding. Ding? Yeah, ding. Fuck.